Somewhere beneath your conscious thoughts, under the chatter of everyday decisions, and behind the logic you believe drives your life, there exists a powerful, silent force. It shapes your habits. It determines your fears. It whispers your beliefs. It makes you you. This force doesn't speak in words. It speaks in feelings, in memories, in deeply embedded programming that started forming long before you ever knew your name. And it controls 95% of everything you do. The subconscious mind. A realm more vast than the conscious world we cling to. And yet, most of us never understand how it works, where it came from, or how to reshape it. But once you do, the world changes. You change. This story is not just psychology. It's philosophy. It's ancient wisdom meeting modern science. It's the story of how to wake up to your potential, your patterns, and your power. Before we could speak, we were already absorbing. Infants are like sponges, not only learning language and facial expressions, but also imprinting emotions, behaviors, and responses. From birth until around age 7, the brain predominantly operates in what's called the theta state. It's a hypnotic state. The same state adults enter during deep meditation or hypnosis. This is why a child can believe in magic, because the boundary between imagination and reality hasn't formed yet. A child who sees anger followed by silence learns to fear confrontation. A child who hears money doesn't grow on trees, over and over programs scarcity into their foundation. A child who is comforted with food may grow into an adult who eats when emotionally overwhelmed. These experiences become internalized beliefs. I'm not enough. Love has to be earned. Success is dangerous. No filters. No judgment. Just input after input, cemented deep into the subconscious. By the time we reach adulthood, we believe we are making our own choices. But in truth, we are running scripts written by a child. And the tragedy is, that child was only doing their best to survive. We are not broken. We are programmed. Every morning you wake up and reach for your phone. Every night you scroll endlessly before bed. You bite your nails when stressed. You hesitate before speaking up. You replay that same conversation in your head, again and again. These aren't decisions. They're loops. The subconscious loves loops. They are energy efficient. And your brain's job is not to make you happy. It's to keep you alive, using the least amount of energy possible. Think of your brain like a high-powered computer. Every action, every reaction, every emotional trigger becomes a subroutine. Once that subroutine is installed, it runs without permission. Charles Duhigg, author of The Power of Habit, explained that every habit loop contains 3 parts: a cue, a routine, and a reward. The cue triggers the behavior plays out, and the reward reinforces the loop. And so, when you feel anxious, cue, you reach for sugar, routine, and feel a momentary sense of calm, reward. Do it enough times, and you've created a neurological groove, a pathway so deep that your conscious mind has to fight just to climb out. This is why willpower so often fails. You can consciously want to change, but unless the subconscious loop is addressed, you're battling 95% of your mind with just 5% of it. The solution? To speak the language of the subconscious. And that language is repetition, emotion, and identity. Fear is not always loud. Sometimes it's subtle. A hesitation, a whisper, a shrinking. Most people think fear is what you run from. But often, fear is what quietly shapes your path. You avoid opportunities that might make you stand out. You settle into jobs that don't inspire you. You silence your voice because, long ago, someone made you feel small. A child humiliated in class for giving the wrong answer grows into an adult who never speaks in meetings. A teenager rejected by their peers grows into someone who avoids intimacy. Fear doesn't need to scream to win. It just needs to whisper louder than your dreams. And here's the secret. Fear isn't a warning. It's a memory. Your subconscious doesn't differentiate time. It doesn't know if something happened yesterday or 20 years ago. If it hurt once, it marks it as danger. But you are no longer that child, and you no longer need to shrink to be safe. Fear is learned. And just like it was programmed in, it can be reprogrammed out. But first, you have to become aware of it. You have to see where fear is driving the car while you're just a passenger. You think you're choosing your career, your relationships, your habits, your beliefs. But zoom out. Look closer. How much of it was inherited? How much of your worldview is just repetition of your environment? A person raised in a family that criticizes emotion learns to armor themselves. Another raised in chaos learns to crave stability, even if it's suffocating. You didn't choose your accent, your first language, your religion, your political views, or your definitions of success. Not at first. These were all programmed in, like operating software. And unless you uninstall and update that software, you keep running the same version your environment handed you. This is not your fault, but it is your responsibility. So how do you change it? How do you reprogram a mind that has been writing your story since before you could write your name? Step 1. Awareness. You cannot change what you do not see. Begin observing, not judging, just noticing. Your habits, your reactions, your triggers, your dreams. Write them down. Patterns appear when we pay attention. A journal becomes a mirror. Step 2. Stillness. The subconscious speaks in silence, in visualization, in repetition. Meditation is not just a practice. It's a conversation with your deepest self. Neuroscientist Dr. Joe Dispenza teaches that when we quiet the analytical mind, we open the door between the conscious and subconscious. Visualization becomes a tool. Feel the new belief as if it were already true. Your mind can't tell the difference. Step 3. Affirmation. Words are seeds. The subconscious doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. What you repeat, you become. What you visualize, you attract. But affirmations must be paired with emotion. You cannot simply say, "I am confident," while feeling shame. You must embody the truth you are planting. Step 4. Environment. You become what surrounds you. Curate what you consume, who you listen to, what you watch. Everything is input, and your subconscious is always listening. Music, movies, social media, conversations. These are the invisible architects of your internal world. Want to change your programming? Change your inputs. Step 5. Identity shift. You don't change by trying. You change by becoming. Ask yourself, who would I be without this fear, without this belief? Then act like that person. Think like that person. Speak like that person. Not to fake it, but to reclaim it. The most powerful truth? You don't become something new. You remember what you were before the programming. You already hold within you confidence, creativity, peace, purpose. They're just buried beneath the layers of old scripts. And as you peel them back, you don't discover a stranger. You rediscover you. Not the version shaped by fear or the expectations of others, but the version that chose curiosity over fear, purpose over patterns, conscious choice over subconscious script. Neuroscience now confirms what mystics have said for centuries. We are not the voice in our head. We are the awareness listening to it. And once we remember this, we stop trying to fight the subconscious. And instead, we teach it. We become the parent we needed, the guide we never had, the author of a new story. The subconscious is not your enemy. It's your most loyal servant. It carries out what it's been taught. But you are not the programming. You are the programmer. At any moment, you can wake up within the dream and choose again. Not to be perfect, but to be present, not to control everything, but to finally reclaim authorship. The pen is in your hand. The next chapter is unwritten, and this time, you're the one writing it. Stay awake. Stay aware. The dream is yours to shape.